Evan Cole stepped out of his small landing craft and felt the warm sunlight touch his suit. He stood still for a moment, looking around at the beautiful alien world called Solara. The sky was soft gold, the plants glowed like tiny lamps, and the air looked clean and calm. It felt peaceful, almost too peaceful, like the planet was holding its breath. Evan removed his helmet slowly. The warm air touched his face, and for a moment he felt safe. But then something strange happened. A very soft whisper passed by his ear. It was not wind. It sounded like a voice, but too quiet and too fast to understand. Evan looked around, but no one was there. He shook his head and told himself it was nothing. Maybe he was tired from the long space trip. He walked forward, scanning the area for life. Soon, he saw them. Beings made of gentle white light, their shapes almost human but brighter and smoother. These were the Solarans, a peaceful species known for kindness. They watched him with glowing eyes that showed curiosity, not fear. One of them stepped closer and spoke in a voice that sounded like music. "Welcome, human traveler. But be careful. Do not look directly into the living sun." Evan frowned. "The living what?" "The living sun," the Solaran repeated. "Our sun holds memories. Too much of its light can show you things you are not ready to see." Evan tried to smile. It sounded like a myth, a beautiful story. Humans loved science, not magic. He thanked them and continued exploring. But he could not forget the warning. Why would sunlight be dangerous? He had visited many planets, but none had a sun that could show memories. As he walked toward a group of glowing plants, the sunlight moved across his face again. This time the whisper was louder and sharper. Evan froze. The world around him faded for a second, and suddenly he saw something. It was like a flash of a dream. He saw a small alien child crying. The child was in a dark place, alone, scared. Evan felt the child's fear like it was his own. Then the vision disappeared. The sunlight returned to normal, the golden world shining softly again. Evan touched his forehead and breathed deeply. "That was not my memory," he whispered. He looked back at the Solarans. They stood still, watching him quietly. Their glowing bodies flickered, as if they knew something. Evan walked toward them quickly. "I saw something in the sunlight. A memory. A child crying. Is this normal? What is happening?" The Solarans looked at each other. Then an elder Solaran stepped forward. Its light was dimmer, older, and its voice sounded slow and heavy. "If the sun has shown you a memory," the elder said, "then it has chosen you. And if it has chosen you, someone is missing." Evan felt a chill go down his spine. "Missing? You mean the child I saw?" The elder nodded.
Yes.
"A young one disappeared many cycles ago. We searched, but found nothing. The sun keeps memories of all living beings. If it shared the memory with you, it means the child's story is not finished." Evan tried to understand. "You mean the child is alive?" "Maybe," the elder answered. "The sun shares memories when danger is near." Evan took a step back. He was an explorer, not a hero. But he could not forget the feeling in the vision. The child's fear, the darkness, the cold, it felt real. Too real. He could almost hear the child calling him. But why him? Why a human? A young Solaran stepped closer. Her light was brighter than the others, full of energy. "Human minds are strong," she said. "Stronger than ours when facing painful memories. That is why the sun speaks to you." Evan breathed in deeply. The idea was strange, impossible, yet everything about this world felt alive, like it had its own heartbeat. He looked at the sunlight again. It glowed softly, almost like it was waiting for him to understand. He remembered the crying child. The memory had felt like a message, like someone was asking for help. Evan looked at the elder Solaran. "I want to help. I need to find that child." The Solaran's lights flickered, a sign of fear. "The child disappeared near the forbidden tunnels," the elder said slowly. "We do not go there. There is darkness inside. A darkness that steals our light." Evan felt the sunlight touch his skin again, and another whisper filled his ears, short, sad, and desperate. He felt a pull in his chest, like something inside the tunnels was calling him. He took a deep breath. The peaceful world around him suddenly felt different. The beautiful sunlight was no longer just warm. It felt like it carried a secret, a heavy one. Evan knew one thing for sure. This was no longer just an exploration mission. The sun had shown him a memory for a reason, and now he had to follow where it led. Evan could not sleep that night. The sunlight outside his small tent grew softer as the Solaran night arrived, but the memory stayed sharp inside his mind. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the same image, the small child crying in the dark. The fear felt real, like it was his own. He sat up, breathing slowly, trying to calm himself, but the memory kept repeating like a quiet knock on a door. When morning came, Evan stepped out and found Lyra, the young bright Solaran who had spoken to him earlier. She waited for him silently, as if she knew he would come looking for answers. Her glowing form shimmered, with a mix of courage and sadness. "You saw more memory in the night," she said without asking. Solarans could sense emotional echoes through light. Evan nodded.
"Yes."
And it felt stronger. "The child, I think they're still alive." Lyra looked at the golden horizon. "If the sun keeps showing you memories, then the child is calling. But we Solarans cannot follow that call. Our light weakens in darkness." Evan looked confused. "Why would darkness harm you?" Lyra touched the ground gently. "Our bodies are connected to light. Darkness drains us. We lose our strength. Humans are different. You can survive anywhere. Your mind can hold memories without breaking." Evan exhaled. "So the sun chose me because I'm the only one who can go?" Lyra nodded slowly. Her glow dimmed in worry.
"Yes."
"But the tunnels are dangerous. No Solaran has returned from there." Before Evan could respond, another vision hit him, sharp and sudden. His eyes widened as sunlight flashed across him, even though the sun was still low in the sky. He saw stone walls, a heavy metal door,
chains,
a glowing hand trying to reach for light, then pulling back in fear. Then a sound, a small voice whispering something. Evan couldn't understand the words, but the tone was desperate, pleading. The vision ended, leaving him dizzy. He held his head and sat down for a moment. Lyra moved closer. "What did the sun show you?" Evan took a slow breath. "The child is trapped in some kind of old structure. Metal. Human metal." Lyra gasped softly. "Human? But humans have not visited Solara in hundreds of cycles." Evan swallowed hard. "Then someone did, and they left something behind." Lyra glanced at the elders who watched from a distance, silent and fearful. "We never told humans about our forbidden region," she said. "Not even in peace talks." "So how?" Evan finished her sentence quietly. "How did human technology end up inside your tunnels?" The question hung heavy in the warm air. Even the sunlight seemed to pause. The elder Solaran approached slowly. His dim light flickered, a sign of deep worry. "Human explorer," the elder began, "there is something you must know. A long time ago, before Solarans and humans became allies, a different human group landed here. They did not believe in peace. They believed in experiments." Evan felt a tightness in his chest. "Experiments on what?" "On us," the elder whispered. "They wanted to understand our energy, our memories, our light." Evan felt cold inside, even under the warm sun. "The tunnels," the elder continued, "were their testing grounds. We closed them after the humans left. But we did not know a child was taken." Evan stood up. Everything made sense now. The crying, the darkness, the metal door. The child wasn't just lost. The child was a victim of something terrible humans had done long ago. He clenched his fists. "I'm going down there." The elder shook his head. "You cannot go alone. The tunnels, they changed. Creatures live there now. Machines that once served the old humans still move in the dark. We Solarans cannot enter. Our light fades." Evan looked at Lyra. "Will you come with me?" Lyra hesitated. Her glow dimmed, then brightened again with determination. "I cannot last long in the tunnels," she said. "But I can guide you." I can show you where the child was last seen. Evan nodded. That's all I need. Before they left, the sun gave one last flash of memory. This one felt different. Not fear. Not pain.
Hope.
Evan saw a small glowing hand reaching toward the sunlight, as if waiting for someone. He understood the message. Someone had been waiting for years. Someone who believed the light would bring help. Someone who believed in him, even before he arrived. And now, Evan had no choice but to follow the memories into the darkness. Evan and Lyra reached the edge of the forbidden region just as the sunlight began to fade. The ground changed color here. No more glowing plants, no soft golden dust. Everything turned gray, cold, and still. It felt like the planet itself was holding its breath. The entrance to the tunnels was a huge crack in the earth, like a wound that never healed. Sharp rocks surrounded it, and strange metal pieces stuck out of the ground. Old human equipment, rusted and broken, half buried under years of dust. Lyra touched one of the metal pieces and pulled her hand back quickly. This technology, it still carries the memory of fear. Many Solarans died here. Evan looked down into the dark opening. It felt like something was staring back at him from below, something patient, something that had waited for a long time. He tightened the straps on his backpack and checked his small flashlight. The beam felt tiny compared to the darkness. "You don't have to come in," Evan said softly. Lyra shook her head. Her glow dimmed, but her voice stayed steady. "The sun chose you, but I will guide you as far as my light allows." They stepped inside. Inside the tunnels, the air changed immediately. It was colder, thicker, like the darkness had weight. Evan's footsteps echoed off the smooth stone walls. His light revealed strange markings on the ground. Old human footprints mixed with Solaran prints, all leading deeper. Lyra's glow began to dim quickly. "The darkness is hungry here," she whispered. "It takes the light. We must move fast." As they walked, the sunlight outside grew distant. The deeper they went, the stronger the strange feeling became, a pull, like invisible hands gently guiding Evan forward. It was the memories again, calling him. Suddenly, a faint flash appeared in front of Evan's eyes. Another memory. He saw a hallway, long, metal, silent. Then he saw the child again, curled up in a corner, staring at a locked door and reaching out towards something unseen. The memory vanished, but it left a direction in his mind, like a map drawn with light. Evan pointed down a sloping tunnel. "This way," he said. Lyra nodded. "I will follow until my light fades." As they continued, the walls changed. The natural stone slowly shifted into human-made metal. Panels, wires, old screens, long dead but still holding the cold shape of a forgotten lab. Evan felt a chill. Humans had built something terrible here. A sudden sound echoed through the corridor. A scrape. A heavy breath. Something large moving. Evan raised his flashlight quickly. The beam hit a massive metal door, dented and scratched. But that was not the frightening part. In front of the door, claw marks covered the floor. Deep, angry marks. Lyra's light flickered. "Something lives here." Evan swallowed. Something or someone. A loud thud shook the ground, followed by a deep mechanical growl. Metal scraped. The sound came from behind the massive door. Evan stepped back instinctively, but another flash of memory hit him. This time it was not fear, it was confusion. He saw through the eyes of something big. Something strong. A creature looking at the crying child behind the metal bars. The creature placed food on the ground. The child reached out slowly, unafraid. The memory ended. Evan gasped. "It's not hurting the child," he whispered. "It's protecting them." Lyra looked at him in disbelief. "Protecting? A creature from the tunnels?" Evan nodded. The vision didn't feel violent. It felt sad. Before they could speak again, the metal door groaned loudly. Something pushed it from the other side. The whole corridor shook. Lyra's glow dimmed dangerously. Evan stepped closer to the door, even though everything inside him said run. But he remembered the child. He remembered the fear. He remembered the hope. He placed his hand on the cold metal. "I'm here to help," he whispered. The creature behind the door suddenly stopped moving. The heavy breathing slowed. For one silent moment, the entire tunnel felt frozen in time. Then, from somewhere deeper in the lab, a tiny sound echoed. A child's voice.
Weak.
Tired. Calling softly. Evan felt the sunlight's pull, even in the darkness. The child was close. And Evan knew they were running out of time. "Come on," he said to Lyra. "We're getting closer." The darkness ahead felt dangerous, but Evan no longer feared it. Because somewhere inside this forgotten place, a child believed someone would come. And now, Evan had to prove that belief was right. ChatGPT said. Evan and Lyra moved deeper into the tunnels, but the air felt heavier now, as if every step pushed them further into a place the world itself wanted to forget. The metal floors had scratches like something powerful had dragged its claws across them. Every few seconds, a distant clang echoed through the darkness, slow, heavy, like footsteps made of steel. Lyra's light was dimming faster. She held her arm close to her chest and whispered, "I cannot stay long. The darkness here, it eats my strength." Evan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Stay behind me. If something comes, I'll handle it." She nodded, but fear flickered across her glowing face. As they turned a corner, Evan's flashlight landed on something that made him stop breathing for a moment. A massive shape stood at the end of the hallway. It was crouched, unmoving, almost like a statue. But it wasn't stone. It was alive, part metal, part flesh, its skin covered with old scars and bits of broken armor. Its eyes glowed faintly blue, watching them silently. Lyra gasped. "A guardian?" Evan turned slightly toward her. "Guardian? A creature humans created long ago," she whispered. "Half machine, half life. It was designed to protect the experiments. It destroyed many Solarans before the tunnels were sealed." Evan felt a cold shiver down his neck. The creature looked deadly, heavy, and old, but its posture was not attacking. It sat quietly, almost like it was waiting. Then the sunlight's memory struck Evan again. This time it was longer, clearer. He saw the creature walking down this very hallway, carrying something small in its giant arms, a frightened child. Not to harm them, but to hide them. Protect them from something worse, something deeper in the tunnels. He felt the creature's confusion, its sadness, and its strange sense of duty. It had not chosen to be a monster. It had been built to follow orders it never understood. But once the humans left, it had created its own order. Protect the child. The memory faded, and Evan found himself staring at the creature again. "It's not our enemy," Evan said softly. "It's scared." The guardian slowly rose to its full height. Metal groaned, and old wires sparked. Lyra stepped back, her light shaking. "Evan, it's waking." The creature stepped forward, one heavy foot at a time. Its blue eyes flickered like a dying flame. Evan felt the air vibrate with each step. He lifted his hands. "I'm here to help the child. I saw your memories. You've been protecting them." The guardian paused. Its huge head tilted slightly, like it was listening. Lyra watched in shock. "Evan, it's responding to you." Evan took a slow step toward it. "Where is the child now?" The guardian didn't speak, but its chest opened with a soft mechanical click. Inside, a panel lit up, showing a flickering hologram, an old map of the tunnels. A red blinked deep in the lower levels. Lyra's light flickered bright for a moment. "That place. Evan, that is the deepest part of the lab. The place the humans called the core zone. No Solaran has ever gone there." Before Evan could answer, a loud scream echoed through the tunnels. A child's scream. The sound was sharp, filled with terror. The guardian roared, an angry, painful sound that shook the walls. It wasn't the roar of a monster. It was the roar of a parent afraid for its child. The creature lunged forward, not at Evan, but past him, smashing through a sealed door with its massive body. Metal flew everywhere. Evan grabbed Lyra's arm. "Come on. We have to move." They ran behind the guardian as it tore through the darkness like a storm, following the sound of the child's cries. But as they reached the next chamber, the ground shook violently. Something else was waking in the tunnels, something older, something the Guardian feared. Evan felt another memory rush into him, sharp and cold. He saw a monstrous machine hidden deep in the core zone. A machine built by the old humans to harvest Solarian energy. The machine was still alive, still hungry, and it had found the child. The vision ended with a final whisper of fear. Evan stopped running. Lyra grabbed him. "What did you see?" He looked into the darkness ahead, the air now shaking, machines humming, metal grinding. "There's something worse down here," Evan said. "The creature that took the child wasn't the Guardian." Lyra's glow trembled like a candle flame. Then what was it? Evan tightened his grip on the flashlight. A machine humans built, one that was never meant to wake again. Far ahead, the scream came again, weak, fading. And Evan knew the real battle was about to begin. Evan followed the Guardian down the narrow tunnel, and every step felt colder than the last. The air tasted metallic now, like old wires burning. The walls had changed from smooth metal panels to rough, black stone cut by machines. Strange symbols were scratched everywhere, warnings left by Solarians long ago. Lyra's light flickered weakly. I feel the core zone near," she whispered. "My light cannot survive there. I will fade." Evan turned to her. "Stay close. If you get too weak, you go back. I'll finish the rest alone." Lyra shook her head.
No.
"The sun chose you, but it also guides me. I can stay a little longer." Ahead, the Guardian suddenly stopped. Its huge metal hand pressed against the ground. It growled low, like it sensed something. Then it pointed forward, where a long corridor led to a massive circular door, twice the height of the Guardian. The door was old human tech, with a faded sign scratched by time. "Core Zone. Authorized access only." Under it, someone had carved 2 words with a shaky hand. "Help me." Evan felt his stomach twist. That handwriting, it looked small, like a child's. He stepped forward and placed his hand on the metal door. The instant he touched it, a burst of sunlight memory hit him harder than ever before. He saw a bright room full of machines. A large cage glowing with stolen Solarian energy. And, inside it, the child, weak, barely conscious, reaching toward the sunlight leaking from a crack in the ceiling. Then the memory shifted to something new. The machine itself. He saw through the core machine sensors. It scanned the child like a tool scanning an object. It didn't feel emotions. It only wanted energy. The child's light was fading, and the machine wanted to keep it for itself. The vision broke, and Evan gasped, holding the door to steady himself. Lyra looked frightened. "What did the sun show you?" "The child is still alive," Evan said quietly. "But barely. The machine is draining them." The Guardian roared in pain, its body shaking with anger. It smashed its fist against the door.
Once. Twice.
On the 3rd strike, the ancient metal tore open, screeching loudly. Cold air rushed out, carrying the smell of burned electricity. Inside the core zone, the room was huge and filled with old human machines still running on stolen energy. The walls glowed with faint blue light. Cables hung like black vines. Screens flickered with fragments of code. And, in the center of the room, a large cylinder of glass, glowing with golden light. Inside it, the child. Their small body floated weakly, their glow dim like a dying star. Tubes connected to their arms, pulling out light and feeding it into the giant machine behind them. The machine pulsed like a hungry heart. Lyra covered her mouth. "No, they are fading." Evan stepped forward, but something moved in the shadows. A massive mechanical arm swung toward him, sharp and fast. Evan jumped back just in time as the Guardian leaped forward, taking the hit with its metal shoulder. Sparks flew as the Guardian roared, pushing the arm aside. More arms unfolded from the ceiling. The core machine had awakened fully. Evan ran to the control panel near the glass cylinder. The screen was cracked, but he could see an old human logo and a single line flashing. "Energy extraction, active." He slammed his hands against the panel. "How do I shut this off?" Lyra touched the panel with her glowing hand. "The machine reads memories through light. Maybe it can read mine." Her glow flickered dangerously, but she pushed her hand onto the screen anyway. The machine reacted instantly. Its lights flashed, confused by the sudden burst of living memory. The Guardian took the chance to charge, smashing several mechanical arms away from Evan. Evan used that moment to pull the main lever down. The machine screamed, a horrible metallic cry. The glass cylinder cracked. Light burst out like fire. The machine's cables snapped one by one, losing power. The child fell forward as the cylinder shattered completely. Evan sprinted forward and caught the child in his arms. Their glow was faint, barely visible. "It's okay," Evan whispered. "I've got you. You're safe now." The child opened their eyes weakly. They looked at him with confusion and relief, mixed together. "You came," the child whispered. Evan held them tighter.
Yes.
"I came." But behind them, the machine screamed again. It wasn't shutting down. It was changing, shifting into a larger form, desperate to keep what it had lost. The Guardian placed itself between the machine and Evan, roaring with pure rage. Lyra stepped beside Evan. Her glow dimmer than ever, but her eyes bright with determination. "Take the child. We must leave."
Now.
Evan nodded, lifting the child carefully. But he knew something terrible. The core machine wasn't going to let them escape easily. And, in the next part, the tunnels themselves would turn into a battlefield. Evan held the child close as the core zone shook violently. Alarms flashed red across the ancient walls, and the machine's metallic scream echoed like thunder. The Guardian stood tall, shielding them from the machine's rising form. Its once silent body now glowed with blue warning lights, ready to fight.
But the machine did not stay in one shape.
With a deep rumble, it unfolded into a towering structure, part spider, part serpent, all metal and anger. It crawled across the ceiling and walls as if gravity meant nothing. Huge blades extended from its sides, sparking with stolen Solarian energy. Lyra's glow flickered so weakly now that Evan could see right through her. She stepped close and whispered, "Hurry, the child has minutes before their light fades completely." Evan nodded and adjusted his grip. "Let's move." The Guardian roared and slammed into the machine, metal crashing against metal. Sparks showered the room. The giant machine swung one of its arms, throwing the Guardian across the chamber. The Guardian hit a wall hard, but instead of falling, it pushed itself up again, driven by one purpose: protect the child. Evan ran toward the tunnel exit, Lyra following him like a small, trembling glow. But the machine suddenly smashed down in front of them, blocking the path. Its red scanner eye locked onto the child. It wanted the energy back. Evan stepped back as the machine lowered itself, ready to strike. But then, a soft flash of warm gold light touched his face. A memory, the brightest one yet. He saw the child laughing, not in a cage, not in darkness, but in sunlight, running through fields under the golden sky. The memory wasn't from the past, it was from the sun itself. A promise that the child could shine again. Evan's fear melted into determination. "Come on," he whispered to the memory. "Show me the way." The sunlight answered. A faint beam of golden light shone through a crack in the ceiling, small but powerful, pointing toward a narrow maintenance tunnel on the right side of the room. "Lyra," Evan called. "That tunnel. The sun is guiding us." Lyra nodded and ran ahead, her dim glow lighting the first few steps. But the machine sensed their escape route. It screeched and raised a massive blade toward Evan. Before the blade could strike, the Guardian burst forward with a roar so loud it shook the ground. It tackled the machine from the side, slamming it against the control core. Metal cracked. Energy cables snapped. The machine screeched in rage. The Guardian looked back at Evan. Its blue eyes flickered weakly, but full of meaning.
"Go.
Take the child. I will hold it back." Evan shook his head.
No.
"You'll be destroyed," the Guardian growled softly, a sad, warm sound, and pushed the machine again. Lyra placed her hand on Evan's arm. The Guardian has waited years for this moment. It chose its fate. Let its memory be light. The machine roared and grabbed the Guardian, tearing pieces from its armor. The Guardian fought back fiercely, smashing the machine into the floor. Evan's heart pounded. He didn't want to leave the Guardian behind. But the child in his arms was fading fast. He made his choice. Evan sprinted toward the maintenance tunnel. Lyra guided him, her glow flickering like a candle in the wind. Behind them, the Guardian and the machine clashed again and again, each strike shaking dust from the ceiling. As Evan climbed into the narrow tunnel, the child whispered softly, "It's cold." Evan pressed them closer. "Stay with me. I won't let you go." The tunnel was tight, barely wide enough for him to crawl. Lyra floated just ahead, dimmer with each second. The sound of the battle behind them slowly faded as they climbed upward. But then the ground shook violently. A massive crash echoed through the tunnels. Lyra froze. The Guardian, its light, just disappeared. Evan closed his eyes for a moment. He didn't need the sun's memory to understand. The Guardian had fallen. But before sorrow could take him, the tunnel ahead glowed faintly with sunlight.
Warm. Pure. Alive.
They reached a final panel, a thin layer of metal blocking the exit. Evan kicked it hard.
Once. Twice.
On the third strike, the panel broke open, and a burst of golden daylight filled the tunnel. Evan climbed out into the open surface of Solara. Lyra stumbled beside him, her glow nearly gone. The sunlight touched her gently, and she sighed in relief. But the child in Evan's arms did not respond. Their glow was almost invisible. Evan looked up at the golden sky. "Come on, please help them." The sunlight brightened, slowly, carefully, like the planet itself was listening. A warm beam touched the child's face. Their small body glowed once, then dimmed, then glowed again, stronger. And slowly, very slowly, the child opened their eyes. Lyra cried out in joy, her glow blazing brighter than before. But before Evan could rest, the ground behind them rumbled. Something had survived the core zone. Something was climbing out of the tunnels. And the sun, for the first time, felt afraid.